estas, cremvase azantes. Welcome, video lovers. Welcome to Tac Nerd 1.0. Fellow humans, welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking something of a deep dive into one of the more underrated survival and utility firearms out there. That being the bolt action 22 long rifle. Now, today specifically, we're going to take a look at this classic Marlin DL-22. We're going to talk about its history, what makes it such a great rifle, and why every prepared individual really should have a 22 bolt action in their collection. So if you can't find one of these classics, don't worry. We'll also cover a few modern alternatives that will break the bank. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, folks, chapter 1. Let's talk a little bit about the history of this. This is the Marlin DL-22, and we've talked about this rifle specifically before on my channel. I got this one last year sometime, maybe a little bit before that, and actually did a restoration on it. Took you through some of that before, but let's talk a little bit about this beauty here. And if you're a fan of classic firearms, you already know that the Marlin has been a staple of American gun culture since really the 1800s. Now, the DL-22 specifically, this was produced in sort of mid 20th century, was part of Marlin's effort to create some more high quality, accurate, and affordable bolt action 22s that could serve everyone from young shooters learning marksmanship to experienced hunters looking for a small game rifle. And this was produced in, I'd say, anywhere from 1940s to the 60s. The DL-22 was known for its exceptional accuracy, and I can tell you for sure that that is absolutely correct, because we've taken this out and it is dead on. It features a target style barrel, very long barrel, by the way, for today's standards. This is a 24-inch barrel, and part of what made it known for its exceptional accuracy and its classic craftsmanship. Now, the bolt action rifle design ensures reliability with very few moving parts and very few things that can fail. It's got this wooden stock, beautiful wooden stock, just a timeless piece that is built to last. Now, as I said, we did quite a bit of refinishing on this one. We put this new Williams scope on the back. The original scopes that go to these, they're very expensive, very hard to find. In fact, they usually run more than the rifle itself does. So that can be, so if you do want to get one of these, and if you're going to be restoring it, just keep that in mind. So finding one of these today, well, that can be another story. They aren't exactly common on store shelves anymore. And that takes us into chapter 2. All right, fellow humans, chapter 2, where to find a Marlin DL-22. If you're lucky enough to stumble across one of these, chances it'll be in places you wouldn't normally think. So going over a few, and we've talked about this before, pawn shops. Pawn shops are a great place to hang out if you are getting a firearms collection together. Many classic rifles get traded in for quick cash. Unfortunately, as people pass on, their collections get sold off. So these are great places to look for firearms, especially older firearms that you can rescue. A lot of times these things are going to sit on the shelves, and sometimes people that really don't appreciate them will buy them. And unfortunately, sometimes they'll bubba them up too. So if you find something like this, consider grabbing it and saving it. Gun shows. Gun shows are another place to find some of these older rifles. Now, used to be gun shows were a great way of finding stuff. That is not really the case anymore. Unfortunately, I have to say, gun shows these days and I hate to get down on them, but it is very hard to find things at gun shows, and it's very hard to find a deal, especially. They used to be places where dealers and individuals could go to just get rid of stuff that they didn't want or need anymore. Nowadays, unfortunately, it's kind of a grift, and people go there and they not only are their prices lower, they specifically raise their prices at gun shows. So that isn't what it used to be, but in some cases, you can find some really good deals there if you look hard enough. Okay, other places, estate sales. This is a good spot. Sometimes you can find one sitting in the back of a gun cabinet, forgotten for decades. Lawn sales, similar. If you're in a state that allows that, of course, check your local laws. But usually long guns are okay to buy from person to person. But again, check your local laws. Online marketplaces, places like, well, I don't know if I can say them here, but you know what we're talking about. Sometimes you can find the occasional gem on an online marketplace. Again, that is getting harder now because people tend to up their prices. Local gun shops, some of the mom and pop shops still carry old stock. I would also look for thrift stores and such like that are also FFLs. These can be great places to find these older gems like this. So let's say you covered all those, you still can't find one, you still want to get a bolt action 22. There are other options. So let's chapter 3, modern budget friendly alternatives. All right, so let's talk about a few modern alternatives, a few affordable alternatives that still give you that classic bolt action 22 experience. First off, the Rossi 22. That's still one of the more affordable bolt actions out there. It is fairly lightweight. It does have a synthetic stock, but it does have decent accuracy. And the thing too with the Rossi's, you generally can get them for probably under 200 quatlus. If it's a sale or, Black Friday, 4th of July, something like that, you can get a serious sale on them. I'm talking maybe even sub 150 quatlus. But again, you may not care for that synthetic stock, but if you're still going to get that 22 feel out of it, that bolt action feel, and it's still going to be reliable. Okay, some other things to consider. The Savage Mark II. This is another one. This one I feel really is that good middle ground that you can get into for price and reliability. It's a step up in accuracy, a better trigger, better reputation, and still kind of in that good budget. I would say you can usually find the Savage Mark II at most big box stores, most sporting goods stores. I would say anywhere from 250 to 300 quatlus. Again, on a sale day, maybe even at 200. And these are decent rifles. Savage has had kind of a thing over the years with their magazines, but you can work with them and you can get them to work right. Now, next, let's talk about the Ruger American Rimfire. Now, this is a considerable step up in quality, also a little bit more in price. If you want something of higher quality, but still reasonably priced, this one gives you some modularity and some great out-of-the-box accuracy. You can probably expect, I would say, 350 to 450 quatlus for one of these. The other good thing about the Ruger American Rimfire is that it shares magazine compatibility with the Ruger 1022. That can be pretty important. If you already have a 1022, or if you're just looking for cheap magazines, this is something to think about because magazines can get pretty expensive. And if with this already using 1022 mags, there's a lot of those out there. And you can find a lot of those in pawn shops and thrift stores as well. So all of these rifles offer the same basic benefits as the Marlin: simple, reliable, accurate, and perfect for a survival situation. Okay, so we've talked about what you can find, where you can find it, and what to choose. What about the advantages of a 22 long rifle in bolt action? Well, let's start chapter 4. Now, let's talk about the bolt action 22 and why it belongs in every survival kit. Might not be the flashiest firearm, but when it comes to everyday practicality, hunting, and survival, the 22 is hard to beat. Why is that? Well, first off, ammo is cheap and it's lightweight. You can carry 500, maybe even 1,000 rounds of 22 in the same place as probably 50 rounds of 308, and that's something. The other thing is quiet shooting. Now, this is a topic I've covered extensively on my channel. I've had a couple videos showing just by ammo choices how quiet you can get, especially with subsonics and such like that, and the calibres and the quiet 22s. You can get these pretty quiet and still deliver a punch that can get you some small game. So, again, especially with the subsonics, if you they make it ideal for stealthy hunting in that type of situation. Okay, again, so let's move into the hunting capability. Again, these are perfects for small game, rabbits, squirrels, birds, such like that. Obviously, low recoil. They make these make great beginner firearms, great for training for accuracy and such like that. And you really can shoot these all day, and you're not going to get sore. Your shoulder's not going to get sore, and you're not going to break the bank either. Lastly is the bolt action reliability, and we've talked about that before as well. There's fewer moving parts, there's less that can go wrong, and it cycles with nearly any type of ammo. That's an important thing too, and we've talked about that before too. The fact that these carry these tubular magazines. Now, these are the same type as you would find in a Henry 22 and such like that. These tubular magazines are very reliable, and they can make it so you can load pretty much any type of 22. You can get 22 shorts in there, you can get the calibres, subsonics, whatever, and you can mix and match, and you're not going to have any problem with reliability because it'll take just about anything you feed it. That's really an important thing. So in a long-term survival scenario, having a lightweight, quiet, and accurate firearm can mean the difference between going hungry and keeping yourself fed. Okay, folks, so we've talked about a lot of things here. Let's go with chapter 5, final thoughts. So again, whether you are a survivalist, whether you're a hunter, or just someone looking for a reliable rifle, bolt action 22 really deserves a spot in your collection. If you can find the Marlin DL-22, I would grab it. It's a fantastic piece of history. If not, keep your eyes open for those sales for the Rossis, the Savages, and even the Ruger Americans. Make an excellent modern day alternative. Remember, survival is about having the right tools, knowing how to use them. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments section, do you own a Marlin? Do you own any kind of other bolt action rifle? A Ruger, a Rossi, anything. Let me know what you got, and let me know any of your stories. Let me know what you're hunting with it. So again, folks, thanks for everything. I hope you learned something. Until next time, stay sharp, stay ready, and keep watching, because when the apocalypse comes, I am on your side.